I feel bad when you talk about your past drug addiction and drug problems. It's not like one day you're like, all right, let me try this. Let me try the latest. Let me see what this smack's about or whatever the fuck. I'm trying to think of some slang for fucking drugs. But, you know, the poor kids, you're walking down the block and you'd get they'd get a bag and put it over your head and say, breathe deep, breathe deep.
Well, yeah,
as
it
you
was
can.
like the first time I got high that I recall. The kids on my block, I was, you know, they used to pick on me a lot in my area, right? And the gang on my block, I was walking by and they like made me huff glue with them. They just, you know, that was my introduction to getting high. It was like, put this bag over your face and keep breathing until you can't breathe. And there was this, you know, there was a lot of heroin in the neighborhood. Like they had abandoned buildings and there'd be lines coming out of the buildings wrapped around the block of all addicts buying drugs.
Yeah.
And it was fucking crazy. Like every few blocks there was another drug area, like another spot. And they were all run by the different gangs that like every, you know, 20 blocks or so, there'd be a different crew operating. So it was a lot of crime, a lot of drugs, and
how you got started? So they started with the putting a bag over your head, making you sniff some glue.
Yeah, that was.
So then, when I knew you, were you still going through shit?
No, well, I was kind of
96.
I just was
96?
defeating my last real run with like hard drug use. I had been I was doing a lot of meth and a lot of dope and pretty much whatever the fuck else I could get my hand on.
Yeah.
And I had just kicked drugs. When I got back to New York, I started looking for a place to train because
Did you know about Jiu Jitsu?
Well,
How'd you find us?
Because I had seen UFC 1 and UFC 2. I fucking got him on a VHS from Blockbuster. And I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
I remember when you arrived at the Hensel Gracie Academy on 27th Street.
My dude, I remember when you arrived, man. I was like, bro, check this out. I was a white belt and I was training and I fucking go away on tour one time, gone for a few months, and I come back. There's all these fucking new blue belts. And I'm like, how the fuck where'd these guys come from? Because it takes a while to get a blue belt back then. And I'm like,
wait, where were you?
And it was,
though?
I was on fucking tour, dude.
I was
and
there
I came
since
back
it's open, though.
Bro, I was there at the fucking, I remember when you and Danaher were both blue belts. I was a white belt and I got my blue belt at the same time that you fuckers were blue belts. And I remember coming back from tour and being like, who the fuck are these guys? I'm like, how did they all skip white belt?
No, man. I started at Ayushi Judo.
I was with Craig Kukuk, bro.
I was with Craig Kukuk also.
I was with Kukuk, bro.
At Oishi Judo?
Bro, I still got...
How come I don't... Listen, I remember you in 96, but I was there from Kukuk, and then when they opened up 96.
You got there before me with Kukuk.
Yeah, okay.
But I started at that first Kukuk Academy upstairs.
Oh, okay. All right, I don't know what that one is.
That was where Mito and Vinny were.
No, you're thinking of 27th Street. That's Kukuk at Gracie Kukuk Academy.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
You're right, 27.
So, yes,
and then we went from there
there
to the loft where we were over at the Kung Fu
Yeah, because
school.
they had the split up. So when you first got there, it was a wild time back then.
Bro, it was madness, dude. It was madness.
People don't know.
Bro, there was a methadone clinic on the floor above the academy.
Yeah, dude, your mind is so nuts. Now, that is 37th Street.
Bro,
Papaya.
come on, man.
Dude, 27th Street's by FIT.
Well, that's because we
Gracie Kukuk.
Yeah, but we had that other academy over
Oh,
there.
above the methadone clinic. Yes. Okay, I thought you were putting them both together.
Yeah, no, I'm just mixing
but
the fuckers.
But even then, too, that was not like a couple of years later. But the very first one, the amount of fucking nuts that came in that place. Challenge matches and fucking people wanting to test it. It's people I don't think could realize how it is now. Because sometimes you'll see something on YouTube, something stupid, but it's nothing like it was back then because you had the two types. Just the regular tough guys that wanted to test it. And then you had even worse, the traditional martial artists that put their lives to their martial art. And also jiu-jitsu comes out taking a shit on everything. And they want to come out there and try to poke your eye, grab your throat, and fight dirty and do stupid shit. And we have to snap some arms. That was the reality of it back then. I don't like this happening now at Serra BJJ because I'm not getting sued. And, it's a different time now. People know they know what they didn't know. They wanted to test it in the heart of Manhattan.
Yeah.
And
no, I remember a couple of times
wild.
I had like incidents with where I had people that wanted to fight me, and I was like, "Yo, Henzo, is it cool if I just do it here, so I don't have to worry about people jumping in and blah blah blah?" And he was like, "Yeah, just make sure somebody films it and there's somebody from the academy there."
It was kind of the Wild West. It was nuts.
Well, bro, back then,
nobody's seen it before. Everybody growing up now knows what jiu-jitsu is, know what an arm lock is. Back then, they're like, well,
the only people who knew and who wanted to train were people who were either dudes who just liked to fight.
Oh, well, it was all about the fight.
Or people who worked as bouncers. Yeah, because MMA wasn't a big enough sport yet for people to like, I'm going to train jiu-jitsu and try to fight in UFC. Like
it was actually just getting termed MMA.
Exactly. So like the only people who got into it were like crazy fucking people and people who really were pursuing the highest levels of martial arts. People who had tried this, tried that, were like, now I found the real deal.
We used to always have visitors coming in at that Henzo Academy, whether it's Japan's finest. Yeah. Yuki Nakai came down with a film crew when Henzo wasn't there one time.
I remember.
And I was running the class, and I had to go verse him with a whole film crew there. We got him. Listen, man, you holding down the fort. You got to hold down the fort. And I got Henzo on the phone. He was in Jersey. He's like, keep him there. So the guy shows up with a whole Japanese film crew. So it's me and Yuki Nakai. And Yuki Nakai was a tough Japanese fighter.
Yeah,
he fought Hickson Gracie.
He was tough.
He fought Hickson Gracie in the Vale Tudo. And Gerard Bepadu, or whatever his name is. I get him confused with the actor. But he gouged his eye in a fight.
His face
and he got blind after that. Yeah, he was eye gouging him. That was some dirty shit. But he was a talented grappler, though.
Yeah, but dude, he was going for that. He was going for that ankle and knee for so long. That dude was just stomping on his face. It was like, bro, like
it's funny.
Certain things don't. There comes a time to try something else, man. Like, you're blind for life, bro.
Yeah, no, he was on a leg, and I believe he was holding the ropes. He was that Gerard.
Yeah.
And just something about that guy.
Yeah.
In UFC #1,
I heard he was dirty.
He tried to bite Hoist Gracie.
Oh, word.
Yeah, that's why Hoist kept on the choke. He goes, he tried to bite me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, people don't realize people used to do a lot of dirty shit, man.
And this guy,
like anything you could get away with that the judge wouldn't see, people used to try, man.
And back to this guy being dirty, and also he's also so Christian, you might remember this. If you ever remember that very first fight where the sumo got his tooth kicked out, he's the guy that did that. Yeah. So he blinded this Japanese fighter that was visiting us. But one eye or not,
those Dutch
I had to hold down the fort. No, listen, we got him.